Okay, I think we should get going, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I am Matana. I'm one of the co-founders of Vital. Normally, you get Natalie as the moderator of these panels, but unfortunately, Natalie could not be here with us today. So I am going to do my best to fill her very big shoes. So we've got a really great lineup with you for today. We have 45 minutes with our fabulous Gen Z panel. I'm going to make some introductions. First of all, I want to do a couple shout outs. First to Par Punch, our co-sponsors in this event. Par Punch is the secret ingredient, powering the most creative and effective restaurant loyalty programs in 89,000 locations, offering a robust platform with the industry's widest variety of tools. They empower the largest global brands to craft engagement strategies as unique as their flavor, going beyond the basics to deliver personalized experiences that keep customers coming back for more. And also our other co-sponsors, Rapturous. Rapturous helps restaurant brands with digital experiences that create average order values and build customer loyalty. As I mentioned, I am one of the co-founders of Vital. We have an innovative approach to Gen Z research and marketing, while Gen Zers are on your advisory board and provide valuable input into your product, programs, and marketing strategy. So today we've got 4 Gen Z panelists, and I'm going to introduce each one of them. First, we have T. T, hi T. You are a content creator and gaming enthusiast. Normally I have an icebreaker, but we've got so much yummy content to get into, so I'm not going to even ask you all about your favorite food items. Nico. Nico is a student in college. He's a poli-sci major, and he also enjoys skiing and guitar. Melody. Melody works for the Department of Transportation of Texas. And she also resides in North Carolina, even though we just said remotely, she gets to work for the department in Texas. And Asia is a college student as well. She's a business major and all up into volleyball. She is quite the volleyball player in all kinds of leagues, and I think you guys are crushing it, right? Are you guys winning over there? And we've got Juliet, who is helping me manage this webinar today. So let's get into it, Juliet. Would you share screen, please? Thank you very much. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. I should say, everyone in the audience, we will have time for questions and answers at the end. If you scroll down on your Zoom screen, you'll see the Q&A button. Please go ahead and put in questions in there as we do our presentation today, and we'll try to get to your questions at the end of the webinar. So today we are going to take you through 3 sections. The first section being the situationship with restaurant loyalty. The second being the assignment, making rewards worth it. And the third section, red flags and green flags in loyalty. Next slide, please. For your viewing and eating pleasure, these are the apps that our Gen Z community mostly called out as being quite active within all of these apps. I'm not going to name them, but there's also other local and regional apps that are not on here, but this is just primarily the most used apps amongst this group. So the restaurant situationship. So we're going to start with a quote from T here. I already have to be loyal before having the app. You have to honeypot it right at the beginning. With this, can you go to the next slide, please, Juliet? Thank you. So commitment issues. Just because they happen to be in your loyalty program, or even perhaps maybe even have your app, it does not mean that they're actually loyal, because convenience is greater than the actual points. I'm sure many of you in the audience already know this, but what drives loyalty? Well, the food, the food, the food. It's got to be, what I'm craving. It's got to be that spicy chicken sandwich. It's got to be the wings, or it's got to be whatever, that chow mein that's hitting me at the time that I really need it. Very, very close second is the service. And then in terms of the app relationship overall, they want a consistent experience, instant gratification, and easy ordering, or else it's not top of mind. Another quote from T here is, I was walking away and spending like $40 at a place, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot the app the entire time. That's a very common occurrence. Next slide, please. So what's your relationship status with loyalty programs? Asia, I'm going to go to you first. If you could talk about this concept of like, oh my gosh, forgetting that you're even in the program.
Okay, yeah. I feel like there's been a lot of loyalty and rewards programs that I have signed up for, just like in my time having a phone and eating at like a bunch of different chain restaurants. But due to the fact that I a lot of times don't have a lot of phone storage and also just forget, I feel like it's very rare that I actually like collect my points and redeem my rewards and things like that. And a lot of the time it doesn't actually affect where I'm gonna go eat or not. It's just kind of whatever I'm feeling at the time, unless I know for sure that I'm like, oh, I have this free reward or I have this free thing here. I'm going to go there on purpose. But that's honestly pretty rare. And a lot of the times, if I forget that I have the app where it like offloads off my phone, I'm not going to wait in the line and hold up the line to like log back in or re-download this app just so I can get however many points or however many cents off or things like that. So a lot of the times, I just kind of forget that I'm part of a lot of rewards programs, unless I can type in my phone number at the front and then able to redeem from there. But if it's something that I have to have just by accessing like an app on my phone, a lot of the times I'm not gonna partake in that.
Thank you, Asia. Nico, I think you have something to add to that as well.
Yeah, I just think that similar to Asia, downloading apps sometimes can just be like, I don't want to take up storage on my phone. There's more important things that I have on there. And then also just like, I'll be going to a restaurant pretty consistently, see that they have an app and just still be reluctant to download it just because it's like it just feels like another step that you got to do and really get out of the way. If it's a phone number, like Asia said, it's a lot easier just to go in and plug it in. It feels like less of a commitment having to download it.
Thank you. T, you want to expand upon the honeypot?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just like having an app in itself is gonna make you like inherently loyal. Um, but like you gotta sweeten the deal to get me to like download the app, and you gotta like, you know what I'm saying, like honeypot a little bit. You gotta give me some that makes it super intriguing to dive into in the first place. Like, for example, I was able to redeem a code for a free extra item at a restaurant that I don't even like the item for, but it was free. So I was like, I'll do it. And stuff like that, like the little small stuff like that just gets you hooked in.
Okay. Asia, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, something I forgot to mention is a time that I will use the app for sure is if I'm gonna online order. So a lot of the apps that I keep on my phone are ones that I use for online ordering and like am also part of the rewards program. There's not really any programs that I just keep them on my phone just to be part of the loyalty program. It's usually if I can also online order and then often like redeem rewards through online or like when I'm gonna go pick up or things like that.
Great. Thanks. Juliet, let's go to the next section. So making rewards worth it. So if that's the assignment, what do we have to do to make them worth it to you? We have a quote here from Melody. I like it when it's instant. Don't make me wait. I don't like that because then I'll forget. Next slide. Thank you. So digital vibe check. So first, there are some things that are table stakes. We just talked, a couple people just mentioned the phone number lookup is an important step versus a download requirement of a full-fledged app. Real-time points updates are important and essential, and Apple Wallet integration now is the move. We also have this idea of extra credit. What else can make people want to use your app more? This concept of FOMO, we'll explain that. Exclusive items, smaller rewards, tiered or bonus rewards, and then surprise me, like do something unique and interesting, more of a gamification aspect. We have a quote here from T. Being able to buy things that I could only available in the app would be cool, whether it be a secret menu item or merchandise. So let's go to the question. What program features make you come back for seconds? That's the question for the team here. Nico, why don't we go to you first for that question?
Yeah, definitely like you talked about in the slide before, having that kind of instant, instant gratification, I guess, from the apps. Like, there was a time that my buddies and I went out to a restaurant and there was a big ad for, hey, download the app, get a free dessert. And we're like, oh, perfect. Let's do that right now. Downloaded the app, showed it to our server, and then they're like, oh, well, you got to come back the next time. And the next time you come, you can redeem it. And so after that, it was like, oh, well, I don't even want the app anymore. So I deleted it off my phone. So because it wasn't instant, I wasn't as interested.
Thank you. T, you've got some points you want to make around like that immediacy that you want to see.
Oh yeah, I really hate doing something and not seeing like things updated in real time because I'll be honest, that might even help me make like another purchase like in store. If I can see it updated like in the moment, I don't have to wait 24 hours for points to be loaded to my account. The second I get stuff on my card, it should just be there. I should be able to see it in the app or whatever, get a text, hey, you scored so and so bucks. It would be nice.
Thank you. Melody, let's go to you. You talked about ways that Chick-fil-A has been doing some things with tiered programs.
Yeah, so whenever I look at my Chick-fil-A app, because I go so frequently, it shows that I want to say that I'm like a silver member or something like that. And instead of earning, I guess the red is like their lowest tier. Instead of earning 10 points per dollar, you get 13 or so points per dollar. And it just allows me to get like bonuses quicker. They also just give you bonuses just because you went. Like if I were to go right now, I'm sure that that store, as soon as I left, would issue me like a free French fry, a free sandwich, or something like that. Like just giving it to me for being loyal and coming. And there's really no other place that does that. I don't ever see that at Chipotle and stuff like that. So even though I frequent them and they give me really good rewards as well, that thing that Chick-fil-A does is just that extra step that I really, really makes me go back because it feels like I'm valued.
Yeah, I remember you also talked about like even if you have 0 points. Can you talk a little bit
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, even if I have 0 points, they'll go ahead and just issue something. Hey, we miss you. And then just send me like a free sandwich or something like. And I'm not sure if it's a specific store because it'll say like Waverly and then it'll show the manager's name and then it'll say like we miss you and then they'll send you something. So I'm not sure if it's that store or I mean like it shows different store names and stuff like that when I go to different ones. So I'm not sure who's in charge of that or how that goes about, or it might just be like my area or what, but it's something that just makes you go, oh, okay, you know what? I'll go spend some more money here because they gave me something for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. And then the tiered program though, like if you spend a certain amount, they'll renew it for the next year. So I think I'm already at like that silver until December of 2025, depending on how much I've spent. So it's nice to know like, oh, I don't even have to think about like having to make this and I love how like their points don't expire. So I'm always able to use it whenever I want and I don't feel like that pressure to just go ahead and use them all up right now.
Great, thanks. And Asia and Nico, you also talked about the idea of the smaller concept, smaller point values.
Yeah, just being able to, a lot of the times I've, experienced with some apps, like maybe just getting all your points for one big item, like maybe it's a percentage off or, whatever it may be, but having the ability to get smaller items, like for example at Chipotle, like being able to get like a small chips or a drink with your points instead of just like one big thing having to save up, that's really nice to have that kind of freedom.
Asia, do you want to add to that?
I mean, yeah, I pretty much agree with Nico. Like, especially with programs that I feel like they have the rewards expire pretty quick. I like especially when you can get like smaller things and like divvy up your points instead of just for a big purchase, because sometimes it takes a while to build up to that, especially if they're constantly expiring, which I mean, that might be the goal, but I personally don't love that.
Yep. Okay. Great. T, you also had a comment around this about a way to earn points slowly.
Oh yeah, some folks don't eat out all the time. Like I get it. Some folks, may have to go pick up their kids from like a practice and get food after every single day. But some folks like me eat like 2, 3 times out a week, and it isn't always the same place. So a way to like slowly accrue points into my system, whether it be like watching a video, following on social media, like little interactive things, or I talked about before Twitch drops, right? Like there's this thing that Twitch does that they collab with video games, and if you watch somebody streaming for like a period of time, you get in-game items for the game they're playing, and that can be incorporated into your apps by like, hey, we're paying a streamer to do a mukbang of our new menu items, right? And you can tie in your account with your app, and if you watch them long enough, we'll give you points for how long you watch. Just small things like that that really matter. That will actually motivate me to go to your place, because the other option is going there over and over again, and I can't really afford that. I don't got money like that, so.
Okay. Melody, you had your hand raised? No? Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you guys. Juliet, let's go to the next section. Red flags and green flags. So the amount of notifications, I noticed I was just going through some of the questions, and we're going to get to your questions at the end. But somebody, I think, asked about how much communication is too much. Well, I think you got a quote here. The amount of notifications that some of the apps give you are borderline insane. I just want to know when my food's ready, and that's it. That's from Nico. We're going to get into a little bit more of that in a second. Can you go to the next slide, please, Juliet? So green flags. Phone number lookup, we talked about. Saved payment methods, Apple Wallet, easy reordering function. Those are all green flags. Real-time updates, instant reward activation. It's a really important point. Red flags. I mean, I don't have to necessarily read this list. I'm sure many of you already know. Complicated login requirements. We talked about that ad nauseum. I think that's a frustration for everybody, and no matter what kind of app it is, having it always sign you out and you have to sign back in. This is a very, sorry, in New York City, and there's sirens and who knows what's going on outside my window. This phone storage issue comes up a lot in our work with Gen Z. It comes up almost pretty much every project we work on. This concept of Gen Z does not want a lot of apps, primarily because of a phone storage issue. So again, back to the phone number, being able to tie your loyalty program to a phone number, or have more of a lighter web app kind of text and browser experience versus a native app is always appreciated with Gen Z. Excessive notifications or too many emails is an issue. We'll let Nico talk a little bit more about that. The redemption process. The redemption process for switching these points into some sort of reward needs to be easy, and overcomplicating simple features. We'll have Asia talk a little bit about UX and this whole idea of forced social integration. Some apps, require like a Facebook login and some of those things. Those are red flags. We have a quote here from you, Asia. They're able to pull it up and have the rewards redeem and get the points. I don't like it when you have to have the physical app. Can we talk to you a little bit more, Asia, about some of these red flags?
I mean, yeah, as I said there, the phone storage is like kind of a big issue. I don't know how, but somehow I never have any phone storage. So I really appreciate when you're able to connect your phone number to the account. Like the other day, I had gone somewhere And for whatever reason, even though I just updated it, my app had been glitching, so I can't open the app right now for some reason, and it keeps just closing it out whenever I open the app. And so I knew I had rewards on there, and I was like, "Oh, am I able to give you my phone number?" And they were like, "No, sorry." So then I was just kind of like, "Oh, okay," like, I guess that was like a little bit disappointing just because I knew that I use that program all the time and I definitely have stuff on there, but my app wasn't working. And then the other thing you said about just kind of like the trying to do too much. I kind of don't like when they overcomplicate things or are trying to, you can tell they're trying to be too much like other apps. I feel like there's kind of like an urge to be like a social media app with every kind of app nowadays, just because people see what other apps are doing and try to copy things that are gaining traction, even though that may not be the vibe for whatever like program or like company they are. So I kind of just appreciate when it's like simple, they kind of know, like they know what they're trying to do and it's not overcomplicated and it's just like easily accessible and not just like too much going on.
Thank you. Melody, can you talk a little bit about the ease, like some of the things that are green flags for you?
Yeah, so I do really I like love it when when I'm able to add it to like my Apple Wallet. Like specifically, I know I have like Chipotle, they let you go ahead and put it onto Apple Wallet, so I'll just tap and then I'm able to scan it, and I don't have to worry about opening the app, logging in. So it's super like less anxiety driven. When you're there in line, you just know really quick I can get it and I don't have to worry about it. Um, and another one is like when I'm able to, even if I don't have it on the Apple Wallet, like on Chick-fil-A, I'm able to connect my card and upload money on there. So it's just my rewards and my money on one barcode, and they scan it, and then I just drive away. And there's a virtual receipt. I don't have to see anybody again until the person that has to just bring my food to the car or handing my food at the restaurant. Like it's just so seamless, and it feels just like it helps me connect more with it than if I have to like feel super stressed about like where is it here or something like that. And even on the Chick-fil-A one is that I'm able to add the reward itself to the barcode as well. So like it's just everything at one time. I do it before I get there. So I feel like I'm not holding up a line already, and like it makes it so easy. Um and I really like just the transparency of some apps. I sometimes I'll be in there at different places and I'm a big numbers person, so I remember like even prices like at a grocery store, I remember. Um, but I'll see the amount of points needed change and like there's no mention of it anywhere. So like in my head I knew I had this many points and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I can get something next time I go." But then I go and I look and it's more points now. And so sometimes I feel like that transparency there um kind of drives me away from being like, I mean, I know there's like rises in costs and pricing like that, but just let me know. That way, I feel like you're not trying to pull one over me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I see that happen, but just because I'm a numbers person, maybe not everyone's like that and won't remember and stuff like that, but maybe there are some other people like that.
No, I think you bring up a really good point, especially for Gen Z and for everybody, but really transparency is a key core issue, right,
Yeah.
you guys? I mean, you I don't want to go off some negative track, but I mean, if the points are worth something that's important to you, and you could have churned those points into a burger, and then now all of a sudden it takes 50% more of the amount of points, it's like a switcheroo, right?
Yeah, and if it's the rising cost or whatever, just let me know. Like I understand because of this, we have to do this. Okay, I totally understand. No problem. But if like I'm expecting something and I get there and I can't have it, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's weird. I wonder why. You know?
I'm going to stay on you for a second, Melody, because you also talked about, because you said you were really into numbers, but you liked the idea of analytics or seeing how much you've saved over time.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it in any like specific food apps just yet, or maybe I have and I can't remember, but I have seen it in my shopping apps. Like when it comes to like Target, I'm able to see like just this year alone, I've saved almost $1,000, whether it's like clipping like certain coupons or getting a buy one get one, stuff like that. And I like being able to see that. And so I feel like actually it might have been Chick-fil-A or something like that that shows me how much that I've spent. And I kind of like that. Like even though I know I've spent a certain amount of money and it's like was close to 6,000 probably now, but I like seeing that. It doesn't bother me that that's how much I've spent, but just knowing and being aware and seeing how many points I've received in the whole lifetime, the whole span, it gives me like a feeling of like I am being rewarded at the end of the day. Like, I feel like sometimes when you use the points and they disappear and you don't see it anymore, it's like, did I ever earn it? Did I ever get what I was supposed to? But seeing all those analytics available to me at all times, and like it's just like a small feature at the bottom or something like that for me to click when I'm bored or something like that. It's just nice to have.
Thank you. And we're going to wrap up this section with UT. You talked about reordering. Like I wanted to talk about some of the green lights around app and loyalty programs.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I love having a pattern. I love doing things over and over again. It's just comfortable for me. So a good reordering system in an app is perfect. Again, with Wingstop, I love being able to see all my past orders and being able to reorder them just like that. Or maybe I want a different drink or whatever. I can edit that one thing as well. It's super easy, but just that easy feature to go in quickly. Also, a lot of us are socially yeah, we don't want to talk to people honestly when we go out. So being able to reorder ahead of time so I can get dressed, get in the car, drive over. By the time I get there, it's done. I can walk in and say thank you so much and then leave. Feels amazing.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot too. And other work is that, yeah, the not being able to have to interact with too many humans, but you can just do that with the app. So we've got one more bonus section or questions that we want to leave the audience with that I'm going to have you guys answer. What are some creative things that restaurants can do to engage you more and gain your loyalty? T, you had talked about earlier, you did an early preview into the Twitch drops. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that and also other ideas you have to promote interactivity with restaurants?
Yeah, I mean, I think making your platforms more interactive is very fun always. Um, Again with the Twitch drops, yeah, just being able to like partner with a streamer who does already review food already and letting them know like, yeah, if you integrate, your Twitch account with the your Chick-fil-A account maybe and you watch them eat five chicken sandwiches for an hour, we'll give you points. Um, and I said before with the
Post Malone.
no, I don't think that was me.
Oh,
Dang, I forgot. Oh, just like yeah, just other things like that where you can interact and oh, that's what it was. A while back, Mr. Beast had a game on his like on YouTube download where if you whoever held their like thumb on the phone the longest won like a bunch of money, stuff like that. Like if you could like make a game where I can like actually play for prizes, that'd feel cool as well.
thanks. Um, Nico, you had this idea around a social, almost like a social feed, like
Yeah,
Venmo.
kind of seeing what Venmo does, where you can kind of see some of your friends' transactions. I think that, you definitely want a way to like opt in and out of this, but I think it'd be cool, like maybe say at like Starbucks, for example, you see your friend's order and you can order it too, or even comment on it. Like I know on Venmo, I'll always like comment on my friends' transactions and say something funny, but I think it's important when integrating those features, like Asia said, to kind of, keep to the core of the app and like not get too astray with it, I would say.
Sorry, Nico, you're the one with the Post Malone idea.
Yeah, that was I was when we were talking about that, just saying that like having exclusive things in the app that you can get. So like, maybe smaller things. Like I know I was talking about how Cane's had like this promotion going on with Post Malone where you could get like the Post Malone cup. So like having promotions like that in the app that like kind of drive customers to the app would be interesting.
Hmm. Melody, on the social aspect.
So I really do like that idea, especially that Nico had. Just being able to like do a simple click, like Melody ordered this last time, let me click this and like, or like, I saw David ordered this, let me click this and order it, let me try it. It feels like a really great way to connect with your family without having like to talk about it, text it, just like a simple click on. I also would like it if like apps just like they gave you like a specific day. Like I have like a T-Mobile Tuesday. Um, and I know like on Tuesdays they're gonna give me something for free, whether it's something I'm interested or not. I always go and I'll download that app if it like has offload or something, and I just go and check it. And like all my friends like they'll call me, hey, did you check your T-Mobile Tuesday today? Like if they have T-Mobile, they'll be like, did you check it? Did you see that there's like a free, I don't know, Shake Shack burger or something like that? Um, whatever it is. And then, we'll talk about it, we'll laugh or whatever. But just that little connection that is not only within the app, but with other people that gets you to call them over just this one free thing is just so interesting and fun, I think.
We also talked about social responsibility, being able to use points for, donating points or other ways to like matching donations, things like that. Melody, you had talked about a little bit of a example from Target. Um, Nico, you talked about matching donations. In most of our work with Gen Z, it's a highly, we see it being very nuanced. Yes, they're for sustainability. Yes, at the same time, they're shopping sheen and fast fashion. So there are, it might seem like conflicting viewpoints, but they are just mostly highly nuanced. As it relates to the points and apps and donation, we talked about, okay, you got to put on your air mask on the plane first, feeding yourself before, but the idea of matching, if there's corporate matching of points and being able to donate that way, that would be something that the team would be interested in.
Yeah, when I was looking at the Target app, it gives you every quarter an option on how much you spent that quarter, I believe, and per points. And it lets you allocate and vote on which charity you would like their like I think it was 15,000 this quarter to go to. So you could vote for like the Humane Society, you could vote for something else. And I think it's like just Charlotte based ones. So I'm not sure if it's every store different or every like region differently, but I know it was like Charlotte Humane Society, things like that. And it lets you vote. And it showed me that like 3,000 went here, 2,000 went here based on everyone's votes who uses them, like, who goes and clicks and everything like that. It's without me having to commit myself, other than the fact that I've already spent money at the store. But knowing that the company cares enough to give back, it just makes me go shop at Target for groceries versus going to like a different store that I know would have the same comparable prices or something like that. But I know that they're going to give back, so it makes me choose them instead.
Thank you. Nico, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, just with you kind of talked about matching donations. So a lot of the times, it's kind of hard to get behind like match or just donating yourself, donating your hard-earned points because you're like, hey, I want those points for, food. But if say, you could donate this dollar amount of points and the company would match it, then that would give me a lot more incentive to be like, hey, okay, I'm going to do this nice thing because I know that the company is going to match it and it's going to be double the amount.
Okay. Great. So I'm going to wrap up. We've got quite a few questions here that I'm going to throw out to you all that have come in through the audience. Joseph asked about how much communication is too much. Nico, I know you have strong views. I think all of you guys have strong views on this. Who wants to take that? Nico, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, it's really important, I think, to still have notifications for things like, that we're working on your order right now, your order's done for the things like that. But when I'm getting notifications from, the app in my email, from text about all these, different things like come in, it's fall and we have this, this item or whatever, I'm a lot less likely to go because I'm just so annoyed. So I would say like, how much is too much? Just tell me the crucial things when my order is ready, when it's being prepared, and then also just like, I don't know, if you have a deal for me, then let me know about it, and that will make me more likely to maybe use the app.
Does anyone have anything else to add to that? Okay. Next question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Melody.
Yeah. So just making it easier, like Nico said, like in the like if it comes in as a text, like giving the option to make it stop if it is bothering me, just kind of easier, not having to like go through all these hoops of having to unlink and having to do this, just to stop for whether it is a little bit or something like that. Because like you said, sometimes you get those emails, and I'm so annoyed by the end of like 15 emails in one day that I will go to the bottom of an email and unsubscribe because it's just so annoying. Um, so I feel like if you do make it easier to undo that portion, but still keep like the app notifications, like you said, of food, it might allow people to feel less annoyed, you know, yeah, just less annoyed.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you. Okay, next question. Does the quality of the app matter more for loyalty? Does a better app experience make you more likely to engage with the brand? Want to know whether the digital execution trumps the taste? So that's kind of a multi-layered question there. So, can the whole experience of the app and how it feels, the UX, UI, the design, increase your loyalty? And does that actually supersede the food taste itself?
Absolutely. I think like I mentioned earlier, like gamifying things or whatever, but I was gonna mention as well, hire people who know what they're doing. Like experienced app makers, experienced game makers who can make everything look smooth for you. Because if your app is clunky and there's too many steps to do one thing, I'm going to get annoyed. I'm going to delete it. I've definitely seen apps where I push a button and it's like statically it clicks on, or like I'm watching it load for 10 seconds and I'm like, why is this an internet feature? Why isn't I just baked into the app? Like, why do I gotta wait for like a connection to turn a switch on? Just stuff like that. People who know how to make it smooth. Because if your app is looking like it came out of 2009, I'm okay.
Nico?
Yeah, kind of bouncing off of what T said, having a really good UI and making sure that the app experience is, good is really important. But whether it triumphs like the food, I would say no app experience is ever gonna like, outweigh the quality of the food. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm never gonna like order from an app just because the UI is good. The number one reason I'm ordering from an app is because the food is good and I like the food. So there's no situation where the UI would outweigh the food experience, I would say.
Asia?
Yeah, I agree with Nico. The food obviously is going to be the main thing, but the quality of the app would be the differentiating factor in whether or not I will actually download the app and use it in addition to going to that restaurant or being loyal to that restaurant or chain, as opposed to just going and not being a part of the rewards program or having the app or things like that. And also an important thing with an app is I feel like it needs to be like you need to be able to tell the difference between the app and the website. Because kind of like T was saying, some apps they make it so it's like you need to wait for an internet connection, or it seems like it's like just like not easy to use on like a phone or mobile device, or maybe it's not formatted to a phone or something like that. So I feel like if anyone's downloading the app, obviously they want a quicker, like easier experience. So I feel like they just need to kind of like make that like user friendly, easily accessible, not something that you feel like you should have to open from a web browser.
Asia, I'm going to give you a follow-up question because it was in the Q&A chain here. If you don't keep the app on your phone and only provide your phone number for, to check in or get points, how do you keep up with the offers, the freebies, or the points if you don't have the app on your phone?
A lot of the time it's not that I don't have the app on my phone all the time. It's just that I don't have a lot of storage, so a lot of times apps will offload when I haven't like chosen to offload them or delete them. So if it's like, do you want to apply these points and the app is not downloaded on my phone, then in the moment, like I would like to use my phone number just so I can redeem those points or get those points or whatever. But then eventually, obviously, or like for the next time I go or something like that, I'll look at the app or go back on my phone. But a lot of times it's just in the moment. I don't want to hold up this line trying to re-download this app, but I would still like to get the points or use my account.
Mm-hmm. Nico?
Yeah, kind of answering that question and piggybacking off what Asia said, having like the employees have a way to tell you what rewards you have. Like I know, for example, when I worked at Starbucks, they didn't have a phone number, but when you scan the app, you got something on your side that let you know like how many stars they have, what they can use. So, and I think this is the same at Jersey Mike's maybe where you can enter your phone number and they can tell you, what you get with your points. So, not having the app and, not knowing is not really that much of a concern if you can go in, enter your phone number, and then the employees say, "Hey, you have this amount of points and this can get you a free drink. Do you want to do that?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that right now." So, something like that.
Okay, great. Melody, you want to add to that?
Yeah, and sometimes I'm a person who um rocks around with like 5% on their phone. So by the time I'm at the front of the line, my phone's dead, even if I put it on airplane mode and I'm trying so hard to like redeem those points. And then I get there and I'm like, oh no. And then I get a receipt and it says, oh, at the bottom you can go and redeem them. Makes it kind of hard. Like you have to go through a bunch of hoops just still to try to redeem those points. So like they said, if you have the option, just enter in your phone number. I feel like that does like give me that extra step and confidence that I know I'm still gonna get points regardless if there's a fluke in internet, fluke in my phone dying, which is like always, but like something like that. I think that that makes it just more user friendly for a lot of people.
Thank you. I have another question here. We're at time. I'm just going to get through a couple more questions. What is the minimum value threshold that would be motivating? So like 10% off seems like a waste of time, but is 25% off or something enough, or a BOGO offer? T, you want to talk about what's the kind of minimum value threshold like kind of offer?
Absolutely. Five feels like a spit in the face. Because that's like pennies on the dollar. 10 got me like considering it, maybe. 15 is a definite grab. Anything above that, absolutely. I'm not even thinking about it. Buy one, get one free all the time. There's been times where I've told my friends, like, yeah, I just ordered food, and they'll get disappointed with me, but I'm like, listen, it was a buy one, get one free. And they're like, send me the link. I understand it. I get it now. So absolutely, those are definitely the minimum is where I'd be like, for sure. At least 15% is where I'm definitely considering it.
Do you guys all agree? Around that amount? Okay. We have a specific question around sandwiches, sandwich shops. Are there any of you who worked well for you that you love and hate about them? Jimmy John's, Firehouse, Ports of Subways, Jersey Mike's. I know we talked about Jersey Mike's and Panera. Those were on the list. Are there any of the specific sandwich shops that are like you love their apps or programs, loyalty programs?
I would say Jersey Mike's is one that definitely comes to mind because of the phone number. And I don't think I even have the app, but I know for a fact that I have a loyalty program, and I think it's, shared with some other of my family members. So it's like we'll all go and, if somebody goes in Jersey Mike's, then, we kind of accumulate points that way. So, having the phone number that's what makes me like use the Jersey Mike's point system, I would say.
Anyone else? Okay. And then last question, which I actually sort of already know the answer. Somebody asked about, are you guys providing feedback or responding to surveys from brands through their apps or in-store experiences, like, they'll have sometimes a how did we do or a customer survey follow-up. Would you do that? Do you guys actually respond to those, Asia?
I only do those if there's an incentive, I feel like, because a lot of times I'm not gonna go out of my way, but sometimes they'll do, get a free this if you do this survey, or sometimes in person at restaurants they'll do that. Like a while ago, I remember I had gone to a Shake Shack and they had given us like a free fries if we do a review, or some places will do things like that. So if there's like an incentive or a reward, then yeah, I'll do it. But if not, a lot of the times I won't.
T,
Yeah,
Nico?
piggybacking off what Asia said, absolutely not. I'm not doing a survey. I hate being asked to, but that small incentive will get me going every single time. I remember when I was a kid, growing up, Jack in the Box, the receipt would say, uh, do a review and get 2 free tacos on your next purchase. I was doing that review every single time, especially because I could do that and redeem it immediately. So I'd order some food. I'd be like, damn, I'm still hungry. And I'd go redeem my 2 free tacos immediately. So definitely an incentive will get me to do whatever.
Okay. All right. So we're at time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for panelists. Thanks, Juliet. We will follow up with everybody who registered with the recording as well as the presentation notes. And then if you have any other further questions, feel free to get in touch with us at hello@vital.world. Thank you, Melody, Asia, Nico, and T, as always. And thank you, Juliet, for helping us. Bye, everyone. Until next time. Bye.